Welcome back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. Ignite Wrestling reached its breaking point yesterday. It was chaotic. I ended up getting or taking a bump in the ring. We'll talk about that in a bit more detail shortly. But wow, what an event from Ignite Wrestling Pro. It was sold out yesterday at Shenley Road, and they put on the show of shows. Incredible, incredible show. We'll get into it right now. Look, the show kicked off where we say on this show, and we say this a lot, when you start a show, you start the show hot. And I've said this a few times before as well. We got second degree burns. That's how Hot Ignite started the show off with an incredible triple threat match in the breakout division. I've seen a few breakout division matches in my time. The feedback that Ignite got from the fans was this was actually not only the best breakout match that they've seen at Ignite, but the best triple threat match, period, at Ignite. Denzel, Mac, Jaden Williams, and Tommy Tanner, the absolute geezer, kicked off the show. And I tell you what, if you could have just kicked it off and said, "See you later, fans. I hope you've had a good night," they got the money's worth in the first opening contest alone. Absolutely exciting, incredible action. These three were diving around all over the place. They were so well matched. It was actually, apart from Jaden, who's been around a while, Tommy and Denzel hadn't been around the wrestling scene for very long. And it's scary when I heard that after the triple threat. CJ Carter was telling me that these guys hadn't really been around the business long. My God, if they've not been around long, well, not that I dread to think, but the sky is honestly this triple threat match. And I remember saying this on the last show when we was talking about Taylor James and Jack Torino. If this was on anywhere, any TV, any wrestling, any promotion, anywhere, you would be talking about it. The world would be talking about it. That's how good this match was. No over exaggeration, no biasness here on the show. That for me, yeah, it was match of the night. There's no doubt in my mind it was match of the night. And congratulations to all three of those competitors. I'm sure we'll see all three of you back in Ignite at some point. The one person that we will see back is the absolute geezer. Tommy Tanner was victorious in the match. It was just an amazing, amazing contest, and he will be back in November, also against Tom Mercer. Will be in there. Kian Cameron will be in there. Perhaps one more. We don't know if anything's going to happen in September, which we'll talk about very, very shortly. The second match on the card was wow. I mean, we're talking presence here now. Smashing Mike and Chris Aries have been having a bit of a to-do for the last probably nearly a year now. Kind of since both men lost their respective championships. Mike was our champion, of course, the Hitting the Turnbuckle champion. Lost it to Mark Trew around this time last year. Chris Aries also lost the Ignite Championship to Tommy Kyle around this time last year as well. And they've been kind of embroiled in a bit of a feud pretty much since then. It was the very next show that it started, so September of last year, and it's still carrying on to this day. Now, it was meant to be Smashing Mike, Tyler Walker, the Prince of Peckham, or as I call him, Team Charisma, Ultimate Charisma is what I called them actually. It was meant to be against the Unholy Alliance, which was formed at the last show before Breaking Point. It was going to be Chris Aries and Arthur Scurro. Now, what we knew going into the show, and we done it on the preview, we mentioned it on the preview show, was that Arthur Scurro had unfortunately tore his ACL and wasn't able to compete on Sunday at Breaking Point. So Chris Aries had to bring in us a surprise or a mystery partner. Now, Arthur Scurro was indeed at the event. He walked out with Chris Aries. Now, When I pressed Chris before the preview show for who it was he was bringing in, A, I got told to piss off, and two, I got told that it was going to be a big problem. And the big problem wasn't just going to be for Tyler and Mike. The big problem was going to be for Ignite. My God, what a problem. So Chris brought out a guy called Liam McCarthy. The first time I've ever heard a collective gasp when a guy has walked out of the curtain. This guy, we're talking about the epitome of a brick shithouse. Liam McCarthy. If I can quote Roddy Piper from WrestleMania when The Undertaker debuted, look at the ham hocks on this guy. This guy is an absolute tank. I don't know how much he weighs. His hands are the size of my head. The guy is just a sight to behold. Like I said, Shenley Road literally gasped when this guy come out. He is just a presence and a half. Chris Aries certainly did bring a big problem to Ignite, and he certainly brought a big problem into this match. Now, the match itself was as the kind of the feud has been, really a fun sort of sprint-ish match. Aries obviously dictating to Liam McCarthy a little bit as well, which I was quite surprised about, considering you wouldn't want to tell Liam what to do. Put it that way. If you don't know, go Liam McCarthy PW on Instagram. You will see him. He is a fucking beast. Is what I will say. He was dictating, and this is the thing when Mike and Tyler were running around doing their usual shtick, as I say, ultimate charisma. Soon as you tag in that boy, Liam, it was like, see ya. He hit a clothesline, I think, on Tyler Walker. I think Tyler's still traveling, to be honest with you. It was that. I mean, he clocked him and a half, and every move, even a basic body slam from Liam, it was just, oh, you could just hear everybody in the crowd go. However, Mike and Tyler were still trying. And I call Chris Aries Mr. Happy because he never smiles, and he probably doesn't want to smile now. I think he's got a few chipped teeth after this match with Mike and Tyler. However, it was the enforcer, it was Captain Carnage. I don't know what you want to call this guy, but it was Liam McCarthy that ultimately helped Chris Aries pick up the victory. Arthur Scarro did indeed get involved in this match as well. I'm not sure he done his knee any favors during this match, but nevertheless, it was a combination move at the end from Aries and Liam McCarthy that picked up the win. And I tell you what, I would love Liam McCarthy back. I mean, he wouldn't be smiling at me either. I mean, he looked at me like I was a pile of shit, but that guy is intimidating as anything. And you know what? And it's something different, right? Ignite doesn't have that. They have a tall Tom, but they don't have, what can I call him? What can I begin with L? I don't know, man. They don't have a Liam McCarthy, and not many promotions have a Liam McCarthy in there, and that makes that guy unique. And I tell you what, Ignite should definitely bring back Liam McCarthy to 96 Shenley Road. I'm not sure buckle up if there's room at the moment, but if we got some big space, I'm sure Liam would like to fill it, and I'm sure would like to have Liam back at Ignite relatively soon. But a victory for Aries and McCarthy. What's going to happen between Aries and Smashing Mike? Will that continue going into Buckle Up Free in September? More on that at the end, like I said before. First of the championship matches now. Aluna defending her, hitting the turnbuckle. My championship. Her first defense against Lucy Sky. Now, this was meant to be against Nightshade. Unfortunately, Nightshade was unable to compete on Sunday. We wish Nightshade very, very well and all the very best. And again, somebody else who we would like to see back at Ignite in the future. Nevertheless, Lucy Sky, a name I'll be totally honest with you. I'd not been familiar with the name Lucy Sky. She's big on the scene up north in TNT wrestling. We pitched it to the champ. Basically, we gave Aluna the opportunity. We said, look, who do you fancy? And she gave us a list of names. Lucy was near enough to the top of that list, and we made it happen for her. She may have wished that we didn't make it happen. The one thing that Lucy does that probably better than anybody else, I mean, we're talking like, we say about Northwest strong. She could be Northwest stronger. She hits like a motherfucker. Seriously, she hits big time. She did have a slight issue with the fact that she was an octopus. Not an octopus, that's not the right word. Octopus, that's not right. Lobster was the word. It's a fish, right? Anyway, she'd severely sunburned. The crowd were getting on her back about that. And of course, the crowd are always going to be behind a Luna. I can't believe I called her an octopus. I'm going to get pelters from Lucy about that. But she hits hard, very hard, and the crowd were behind a Luna during this. Aluna couldn't get a lot going in this because every time that she did get something going, Lucy Sky would just hit a big move or a big punch or a big chop or a German or something along the lines, and it would derail her. Now, the one thing that Lucy Sky does have, which is probably one of the hardest kicks or knees I've ever seen in my life, she has those as real weapons in the ring, and she was using it. She hit Aluna with one, sounded like a gun had been fired. And then later on down the line in the match, she hit her with two more consecutively. Aluna at this point was at a point where the lights are on and nobody's in. She did try to get up. She wobbled to her feet. She fell back down. I had to get into the ring. We had to call the medic, Mike, to get into the ring as well. Not smashing Mike, but Mike. And there was a general concern that Aluna may be out and unable to continue. Even Mike, the medic, was like, no, this has to be called off. Nick was going to call the match off and award the championship to Lucy Sky. However, Aluna pushed Mike out the way. I then ended up getting pushed out the way by Lucy. I hit the floor. I went out of the ring. I weren't going to stay in there while these two girls were going at it. But Aluna made it to her feet and she made it count. She got the victory in the match and retained her title. But when I say by an eyelash, maybe even half an eyelash, she retained that championship. And I tell you what, Lucy Sky, if you've not heard of her before, go and see her online. She is incredible. Actually, go to TNT Extreme Wrestling. There's a place to go and see. If you're up that way, if you're up north, or even if you're down south and you want to try something different, TNT Extreme Wrestling over in Liverpool, go and check that out. It's definitely worth your money when you see people like Lucy Sky there and what she does. Great performer. We do thank Lucy Sky, of course, for coming in at such short notice as well to the show. It was much appreciated. And hey, listen, your door's always open. Don't push me again. I mean, don't push me again, but the door is open to come back and to do your thing, and because you are an incredible, incredible talent. So thank you, Lucy. But Aluna retains and will defend the championship at Buckle Up now. I can't. The opponent may be slightly obvious, as the opponent is probably on the poster for Buckle Up, but Aluna's gonna have her work cut out for her come September. That is for sure with her opponent. Buckle Up. We'll announce that at a later date. Once Aluna has agreed, I'm sure Aluna will agree to the match. She's not a champion that will back out of a challenge, unlike previous champions. Mark Trew, I'm mentioning you. But yeah, we will announce that match in due course for Buckle Up 3. Had a nice little breather. Say, I had a nice little breather at that point. It was like a sauna in Shetley Road on Sunday. Jesus, you needed to drop weight for a fight just getting there. My God, it was baking hot. Had enough time to go and get your drinks before we reconvened with a tag team special. And it was a rematch from before, Trew and Lacey against CPF. Now, the last time these two teams competed inside 96 Shenley Road, Mark Trew was the Hit in the Turnbuckle champion, and he was defending the gold. And it was at that very show that he threw the belt at me and said he wasn't coming back in February. This was November of last year. Trew Lacey, CPF number one. Trew and Lacey were successful. So we wanted to run it back without the championship on the line, and it didn't fail to disappoint. These four guys, and no matter what you think of Kieran Lacey, no matter what you think of Mark True, they are one of the best, if not the best tag team in Brit Rest right now. They're going to be in the tag team tournament over in Rev Pro in a couple of weeks, or wherever it's starting, or whatever they're doing. They're going to be in there. CPF, I think, are the trios champions over there as well. And Danny Black and Joe Lander, the crowd absolutely love these two. They love these two as much as they hate Mark True and Kieran Lacey. But when they hit the ring, magic happens. And this is exactly what happened between True Lacey and CPF. And it was pure magic. It just lived up to billing. You couldn't really. Um, they was never going to disappoint, right? An expectation was set and they over exceeded as they always do. But it was CPF that picked up the victory. So that's really tied at 1-1 in that match. Just like Aries and Mike is tied in singles action. 1-1. I think we may have to have a blow off somewhere down the line. It won't be, unfortunately, a buckle up. Both those two teams will not be competing at buckle up this year. Unfortunately, it's not something that's possible this September. So we can't have the blow off between those two in September. Down the line at Ignite, who knows, but it will not be in September. But congratulations to Lando and Danny Black at CPF. A very hard fought win in what again was a tag team match that could have graced any scene in wrestling, any company, and would probably be talked about just as much as what I'm talking about it here. Fantastic, fantastic match, and congratulations to CPF. Now we move to a match which I was personally looking forward to. This was an opportunity, this was a real opportunity, actually. Tom Mercer, who has taken Ignite by storm. Now, Tom Mercer is probably so hated there and has had like two matches. He is part of the Rebellion Wolfpack. Taylor James has got a new rebellion. Obviously, as you know, he kicked out Jack Torino and he's got some new members. One of those members is Tom Mercer, who debuted at Ignite probably about a year ago and has been hated since day one. He's had two matches. The crowd don't like him. Um, but this was a match that was going to really cement where Tom is on the card or where Tom is as a wrestler. And it was against the crowd hero, Corey McRae, who has come back with a vengeance to Ignite. He got rid of Truman Roswell, thankfully for us. He's done a lot of work as a Corey, and he wants one thing and one thing only, and he wants that Ignite championship back around his waist. But this was going to be a test for Corey. Was it going to be as big of a test as what he expected? I think it was probably more than what he expected because Tom Mercer held his own against one of the most underrated wrestlers in the country in Corey McRae, and Tom gave it everything in his match. A couple of times in his match, Corey just couldn't do his trademark German suplex in this. He just couldn't get it. Tom was just too strong, too tall, and he held his own. So when you have to say with someone, I don't like him, but the guy can go, Tom Mercer's exactly that person. He's got a very, very bright future. Not just at Ignite, at Brit Rest. He's got a very bright future there. Does he have to come away from Taylor James and the Rebellion? I suppose time will tell on that. But he has definitely got something about him as Tom Mercer. And he gave Corey a hell of a run in this match. And it was very close. But of course, Corey McRae picks up the victory in this one, and he got on the mic at the end and he gave Tom his flowers. Said you weren't quite there yet, kid, and that's probably very true. But then turned his attention to the main event, which was, of course, Taylor James, Tommy Kyle for the Ignite Championship, and just basically said that he has one eye on that match and he wants that championship back. He was the 14-month longest reigning Ignite champion. So who's going to argue that Corey McRae Is he next in line? Is it going to be a buckle up? We haven't had that conversation yet. Myself and CJ Carter, we got to have a conversation about who's going to be in what matches. As I said, the Turnbuckle Championship is pretty much signed off, barring a lunar signature, and then we'll be able to announce that. But he's stated his claim now. It's down for us and CJ Carter to decide whether or not we give Corey what he wants, a buckle up or not. Anyway, main event time at Ignite. This was Taylor James, Tommy Kyle for the Ignite Championship. And yeah, this was quite chaotic. It was fairly scary at times. I'm not going to lie with this. And this is what you get. You'll get this. You'll get me being honest with you on this. And match was going great, to be honest with you. The match was just heating up, was just getting to a point where, it was the crowd were invested. They didn't want Taylor to win. They were always behind Tommy Kyle, who's had, would it be wrong to say he's had a career resurgence since his injury? Is that too much? I don't know. We have to ask him. But this match was going great. They hate Taylor James big time here. However, a couple of scary moments, and one that we didn't actually know about at the start. Taylor went for, I think, a 450 in this match, and as Tommy moved out of the way, and as Taylor saw Tommy moved out of the way, he landed on his feet, which was okay. Now, what we didn't know at the time was that Taylor had heard a crack in his ankle, and Taylor was trying to finish the match off with the fidget spinner. His knee and ankle gave way halfway through the move, and Tommy Kyle landed on his neck. There was again a gasp at ringside. I can tell you there was chaotic scenes out the back. I believe even people that are watching it upstairs on the stream, there was a big shout from upstairs as well. Grave concerns from Tommy Kyle during this match. As he was communicating with the ref, saying he was okay to continue, he rolls up Taylor James for the 1-2-3 and retains the championship, or so we thought. Because the one thing that didn't happen before this match was that Taylor James did not hand over the Call Your Shot briefcase to cash in his shot at Tommy Kyle's gold. At the end of this match, Tom Mercer decides to take it upon himself, chokeslamming Tommy Kyle, handing the briefcase to Taylor, who cashes in and pins Tommy Kyle to become World Ignite Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion. Now, thankfully, Tommy Kyle is absolutely okay. I had a chat with him earlier. He's doing okay. Now, Taylor James has torn ankle ligaments. What does this mean for Buckle Up? Well, right now, we don't know. We're waiting on the full extent of Taylor's injury. We know it's torn ligaments, but we don't know the time frame for recovery as of this going out. So we'll have to wait and see over the coming weeks as we get a further idea as to what happened. But as it stands right now, Taylor James has fulfilled his legacy at Ignite Wrestling, something that he's been waiting to do for the 2 years at least that I've been going, certainly probably longer than that, and will be heading into Buckle Up, currently Ignite Heavyweight Champion. It was chaotic. It was crazy. It was fucking hot, but it was an incredible, incredible show. Big thank you for everybody that attended, everyone that come out, sold out Shenley Road again yesterday. Your support, continued support, is very welcome for us, and of course for Ignite Wrestling. Without fans, there is no Ignite Wrestling, and we very much appreciate every single one of you that turned up last night. Now let's switch gears. Let's of course talk about Sunday, September the 21st. It is Buckle Up Free, Ignite Wrestling, and us, the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast, come together one more time. Buckle Up Free, bigger, better, better. How do we get it bigger and better? Well, we've got some stars that are coming. The returning Gene Money, that damn dirty dog, G Money will return to Ignite Wrestling at Buckle Up Free, as will, and I can say this at this because this is not a family show, the spectacular twat Charles Crowley will make his return, long awaited return to 96 Shenley Road. And as announced yesterday at Ignite and announced via the video package that played on our channels yesterday, we've made a call to the 0121 man like Doris will be there. The Lyrical Dragon, September at Buckle Up Free. He will be there as well, as will the debuting Alexis Falcon. Now, what we are waiting for is for Aluna to agree to defend the Hitting the Turnbuckle Championship against Alexis Falcon. We've not got confirmation yet that it's been agreed, but that's where we're heading. So it could well be first time ever Alexis Falcon and Aluna for the Hitting the Turnbuckle Championship. If you're gonna get a ticket, and this isn't just me trying to promote, I'm being deadly serious. You can go on to 96 Eventbrite for yourself. We are over 60 tickets sold already. Once they're gone, they're gone. There's no extras and not messing around. You will miss out. Just get them now while you've got the chance, while they're there. Go and grab them. Front rows, there's six left, I think. Six front rows left. Second row is limited. The rest, there's still some seats there for you. So get them. Honestly, though, get them while you can. Don't wait until the card or anything like that. Some of the names that I can't announce that we're in discussions with at the moment, if they come on board, the show's selling out. Simple as that. I'll be totally straight up with you. They will sell out and you'll miss out. So the names are announced. That's all I can say to you. Also keep track on Ignite. Go to Ignite Rest Pro. Keep up all the updates there. Of course, you can keep up all the updates at HTT Buckle as well on X, HTT Buckle on YouTube, Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast on all other social media outlets where we'll be announcing stuff at Buckle Up, as will Ignite. So keep following them on Facebook, Ignite Wrestling, Ignite Rest Pro on Twitter, Ignite Rest Pro, I think on the Instagram as well. And also keep a lookout on the Spinebuster Media channel for the matches that just happened at Breaking Point. You'll get to see that and you'll see exactly what I mean by the top three talent in that triple threat match. Was absolutely incredible. We'll be back with the Buckle Up preview in September for those of you Ignite fans, so don't miss that. Coming up on this channel, NWA star Alex Misery will join us. We'll be also joined by the Headbangers and many, many more. So keep it locked on our channel and Ignite's channel. But until then, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.